Tonight, you'll hear more success stories and challenges, and their victories in overcoming adversity and receiving the support and money they needed to launch, grow, or expand their startups. Now, I've opened a live chat on YouTube, so you can now submit your questions live during our broadcast to get you the answers you need tonight, and to help you keep current with trends on an ongoing basis as we move forward. So I'm also providing you our free video newsletter, the Crowdfunding Minute. Because really, the two biggest challenges to crowdfunding campaigners in the digital age is, one, getting the word out, and two, staying focused despite information overload, right? We all suffer from that. So I want to help you to work on your focus starting tonight. During our brief time together, you'll need to focus. So if you wish to get the most out of our time together and the most money out of your crowdfunding campaign, you need to focus. So turn off all your distractions. Distractions are really your speed bumps, slowing you down on your way to succeeding in the digital age. So turn off your phone. What's more important to your business tonight than focusing right now on what? Money. Now, if you're truly committed to achieving crowdfunding success, you need to get and stay focused on money. Folks, this is the time and place to fight off distractions. When they come up, ask yourself, will this get more money and short-term cash flow into my project, which I need right now for myself and my family? If not, ignore it and get back to your focus on making money. Now, focusing on money may sound crass, but it's not. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's a realistic and practical thing to do, especially in crowdfunding. Because, folks, think about this. The more important that your project is, the more important that it make money to enable you to reach more and more people with your project success. You want supporters, and supporters want you to succeed. Incidentally, just so you understand this, everybody will benefit from tonight's meeting online. I promise you that. Even if you decide crowdfunding is not for you. Let me explain why. Because the required entrepreneurial activities needed to achieve crowdfunding success are the exact same activities needed today for any business success, with or without crowdfunding. You need to get the word out through targeted social media, publicity, online networking, direct response advertising, and often through distributor networking for funding online. Additionally, you'll learn how almost anyone needing very little technology savvy can also learn everything you need to begin making money by teaching crowdfunding alongside me with my help right in your own city, state, or country. So right now, put in your full focus on tonight's meeting, and I promise one way or the other, you'll make progress toward your goal starting tonight. So close your Skype, get out of email and Outlook. Anything that buzzes, turn it off. Hopefully you're in a quiet place and you can give me all your attention so that you're ready to learn from your peers where cash is flowing today in the digital age, and that's crowdfunding. Always keep a pen and paper handy for note-taking. I promise you here that you will learn the top 10 low-cost practices which I've implemented into my design of the ideal crowdfunding activities, and which you can implement into your own planning and crowdfunding launch. I'll tell you the stories about gadget creators, and the stories of scientists, and the stories of everyday people using money that they've crowdfunded to afford them the time to pursue their passions. So let's get right to our first interview segment. I want you first to meet Max Bogue. Max is the co-founder of 3Doodler. You're going to hear him tell you how he and his partner achieved their nearly $2 million raise on Kickstarter. I'm going to break down the key components into a case study for you, along with my recommended action steps to be certain that you understand what you can do for your own project by following the same proven principles of Max's campaign. First, I want to quickly break down the key components into a case study for you, along with my recommended action steps, just to be certain that you understand what you can do for your own campaign by following these same principles that you're going to hear in Max's interview. Now, during my interview, which I often conduct with one or more associates during our online meetings, These are where the interviews are conducted. So here are the key points I'd like you to listen to and consider about how you too may be able to reach out to large existing communities. These are interested communities who may be those that are most interested in what you have to offer and reach out for their support and for their money. Here's what to listen for. Listen for how they used pre-crowdfunding preparation time. 2, how they reached out to a community of interested people. 3, how they too were concerned if their project would be successful, but went forward anyway with faith and conviction. 4, how the community became engaged with both their questions and their ideas. 5, how market expansion ideas can come into campaigns from all sources, including me. And how long did they prepare? When did they launch their media outreach before they started the campaign? What types of bloggers did they reach out to? What's it like to suddenly have $2 million in your hand to go out and fulfill your vision? Listen to Max Bogue.
Before we came to Kickstarter, we thought up the idea of doing a cross-promotional tie-in with Etsy artists. So we reached out to the top 4 or 5 wire artists that we liked the most on Etsy. And everyone we approached, we were hesitant. We're like, I don't know if they're going to like this idea or not. And we, tentatively approached them and said, would you be considered joining our Kickstart and doing some work, doing pieces for the Kickstart as part of the first group of artists to actually do a 3-doodle? And they all just leaped at the opportunity. And we were very excited that they were as excited as we were, because we weren't quite sure at first how, artists, wire artists and sculptors would actually react to this. And so far they had amazing reaction and a million questions and a million ideas. And it was a lot of fun to add them into the mix and to get their perspective on the product.
As a marketing idea, I just had, I want to ask about, is tattoo artists and parlors, they do a drawing first before they do the tattoo. If they had the 3-doodler, they could actually sell their customers kind of a 3D version of their tattoo.
Yeah, they could.
You could even put it on them after you doodle it on the piece of paper and take it off.
Oh, there you are.
You're
back.
To see what it looks like. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And since you can mix colors and whatnot, you can do all the colors as well.
Yeah, when you launch this Kickstarter program, what did you guys do to prepare? Because obviously you had success very quickly. So were you prepared for that? Did you already have, a bunch of people that you knew wanted it? What was your kind of method to your madness?
So we spent 3 months in preparation. We did a media outreach about a week to 2 weeks beforehand. We, reached out to a lot of tech bloggers and whatnot. We certainly didn't expect the number that picked it up.
Yeah, no, you guys did a really good job on setting up the perks, and I think I'm pretty impressed. It's kind of one of the campaigns that I've seen that's really well-rounded. It's like, you kind of have your bases covered, and you did a lot of creative thinking beforehand. So it's a great campaign.
Thank you.
What's it like to suddenly have $2 million in your hand to go to work and fulfill your dream?
It's an amazing opportunity to be able to produce these items, to use that money to produce these pens. It's fantastic. So, we're jumping up and down on that regard. At the same time, we see the giant headache in front of us.
Success always creates a lot of work, doesn't it?
It does, but it's work we're more than happy to do.
Absolutely. It's like Carol Schultz told me, the joy is in the doing. So now I hope you guys get a lot of joy out of what you're doing.
Oh, we will.
So let's quickly recap what you just heard. First, they prepared for 3 months. They didn't just post their campaign, they prepared. 2, they reached out to large existing artist communities who were super interested in what they had to offer. 3, they are glad, extremely glad they moved forward despite the concerns. 4, they learned what questions their supporters and leads had before manufacturing and making mistakes. So they learned during the campaigning. They launched the campaign, the media campaign, about 2 weeks in advance of their Kickstarter. They reached out to tech bloggers like Engadget. And 7, having $2 million to go forward and fulfill their vision brings both excitement and challenges. Now, this is money. You can have to get the professional help you need to expand your campaign and your company marketing efforts. Not an inventor like Max? No worries. Author Allie wrote A Beautiful Mess, which is a collection of personal essays and became the first book published all by crowdfunding alone. Author Jenna published her book, He Never Liked Cake, by raising about $15,000 and also verified that people were eager to read what Jenna had to say. Author Joe Morris today thinks of himself as an entrepreneur author because he raised the money he needed to write and publish his book and still have money left over for his next book. Each week, we like to focus on different crowdfunding portals, and this week, we're drawing more from Kickstarter. For example, I want to share an exciting interview I did with Joseph Constantine, co-founder of Lightwing Shoes. Now, Joseph's success story details the crowdfunding campaign that they did and raised 900% more money than they even asked for. So we'll be right back with that after this reason to sign up for the Crowdfunding Minute. Here's the quick story of Cooley Cooley Foods. Hello, I'm Mike Hayes for Crowd Success TV with the Crowdfunding Minute. Lisa Curtis headed off to Africa as a member of the Peace Corps with a belief she could bring solutions to a group of West African women. Before long, it was Lisa who needed help from the very women she went to serve while she found herself suffering from malnutrition. Women in her adopted African village told Lisa about a local plant named moringa, and soon Lisa was back on her feet and healthy again. Upon returning to America, Lisa decided she would continue helping the women by starting Cooley Cooley Foods and raising money online with crowdfunding. After initially raising about $50,000 on Indiegogo, Lisa turned next to accredited equity crowdfunding and raised nearly $400,000. Lisa is now using the money to expand her Cooley Cooley Food Company into new distribution channels. That's your Crowdfunding Minute. The Crowdfunding Minute is designed to allow anyone to begin learning about crowdfunding for money for any reason at any time from anywhere and to learn at their own pace. You can now receive the Crowdfunding Minute for free. Visit thecrowdfundingminute.com and learn about crowdfunding. Now we're going to get back to Joseph Constantine, and as you listen to this interview with Joseph, take a note on the recognition that the world has shrunk and that as much as 40-50% of revenues can come into campaigns from outside of your own country. In this case, it was the United States. One major key to learn from our next crowdfunding case study is global press release distribution.
I think once you move beyond friends and family, those that are just there to help you to get it all kicked off, I think the people that really come on to support projects are those that do like to be the first movers on something that they see that they can connect themselves with, their personality, their style, or their just natural ability of being curious as to, okay, what is this group of guys and gals actually up to? What are they trying to create? And I would like to be a part of something from the basically from the ground level up. And I think it's that spirit that want to actually push a small organization or with a budding company to the next level is. I think there's just a certain type of person who identifies with that need to get out and give a little bit of assistance. And they like to be a part of something that's brand new, and they want to be able to engage with the company at a very early stage, because at this level, that companies tend to be the most accessible, right? They can reach out to the founders, they can talk to the founders. It's a lot easier to be connected with the team. And we hope as a team to always be connected with, our customers, because it's very exciting for us to be, getting this type of feedback or getting messages on a regular basis as to, what our shoes are all about or asking about the team. And I think it's that personal level connection that a lot of these crowdfunders are really interested in gaining. And I think that websites like Kickstarter.com and Indiegogo and the dozens of others that are out there really allow for that personal connection between the backer and the founding team, which I think is the most interesting piece for a lot of the people. Right now, we've just cleared through about 900% of our initial goal. So we just passed through about $140,000 US. And as we did that, we hit our 2013 pairs of limited edition shoes, our maximum that we wanted to sell, that we capped the entire project at. We still have 17 days remaining on the project, So that leaves us with a good 2.5 weeks to figure out what else we could possibly do with the project. But as of right now, we've reached our goal. We've reached our max cap of the number of shoes we want to produce. So we are absolutely ecstatic. And now it's beginning the next process for us, which is, bringing these shoes to market and shipping them global for all of our customers at the end of August. So this is where we're transitioning from, bringing on the backers to now making sure that we can have a very strong level of customer service to make sure everyone is very happy with us and with the shoes that they receive in about 6 to 8 weeks' time. I truly believe that until you put yourself, in the arena, you'll never know if you can possibly achieve something, right? And at the end of the day, there's really not much to lose in going out and offering a crowdfunding project. I think there's everything to be gained. Even if a project were to fail, you would have a better understanding of the marketplace much faster than if you were very quietly moving along and trying to implement it in a different way. So crowdfunding as a whole, I'm a huge supporter of. Not only as a backer, but also as a project creator. I think it's one of the most interesting ways to bring new products, new offers, new concepts to the marketplace in a quick and rapid fashion. I know this is cliche. I mean, everyone is saying this, but as having experienced it now, we learned a lot about our market. Not only, yes, we were successful, but we also, in the process of doing this, learned a lot about how we will do future operations of our company, not just as launching a product, but now we have a good idea as to many other elements of our business that we would never have learned or may have taken a much longer time to learn had we not participated on Kickstarter. We can estimate right now that about 30 to 40% of the customers are outside of the United States, in fact. And from the names that are coming across, we are represented throughout Europe, South America, Southeast Asia, Australia. We have, I believe, some backers from South Africa, and even the Middle East, I believe, as well. So we've covered the world quite well. We did not expect that. We really had originally assumed that it would be a majority, maybe 85 to 90% American-based, and then the remaining some European and a handful of Southeast Asian backers. It's been crazy to see how wide Kickstarter actually projects itself globally. So what we want to be able to do is do much shorter pre-sales periods where we're doing them in 5 to 10 days on very limited sets of shoes, so that we can have a much better understanding of what the market demands in terms of style and color, but also with sizes. So we'll actually be doing these pre-sales online at theutlab.com, and from there we'll be able to go direct to factory, produce in a rapid fashion, and then from there be able to ship direct from our factories to our customers in the United States, and be able to turn around this in a much more fast fashion than we would otherwise.
So there you heard it yourself. Again, in this case, since about 30 to 40% of donations came into the Lightwing crowdfunding campaign from outside the United States, it demonstrates the importance of global press release distribution, or be faced with leaving 40% of the money on the table. And we have a great solution to bring crowdfunding campaigners, get this, unlimited global press release distribution. Global press release distribution is vital because in a startup, money is the fuel that drives crowdfunding, and using cash flow from early campaign success can be used to build up more and more momentum in your crowd success vehicle, especially the one I put together for you. Now it's your time to learn crowdfunding and to use it to get the money you need into your project and into your life. The two most popular forms of crowdfunding are 1, rewards crowdfunding, and 2, equity crowdfunding. Only in the latter, equity crowdfunding, do you need to give up any ownership of your idea or company. In rewards-based crowdfunding, that comes in the form of donations to you that, get this, you never need to repay to anyone and have no debt. So you need to plan ahead so you can use some initial cash flow to hire the professional help that you may need for additional media exposure. Well, folks, I hope you can hear from your peers that with so much to gain, it just makes sense to plan ahead so that you can use some initial cash flow into your crowdfunding campaign, pull that out, and then hire additional help to get more media exposure. You'll ideally use social media, free publicity, to direct response ads on Facebook, and then eventually TV and radio advertising in the $300 billion direct response industry. Now, if you're not familiar with direct response, such as TV shopping, TV and radio infomercials, mail order catalogs, and retail store distribution, you may not recognize that crowdfunding is actually a new mechanism of direct response. So, I went to the source and interviewed Julie Coons, the CEO of the Direct Response Industry Association, and I asked her about crowdfunding being the newest form of the ever-changing direct response media industry, especially when it comes to marketing and media exposure. Listen to Julie Coons. I recently sat down with Julie Coons, the president and CEO of the Electronic Retailing Association, at their annual media marketing conference in Las Vegas. Julie, we all, if we like it or not, find ourselves in the digital age. And, we know there's a lot of money in America, and a lot of it is frozen from people not knowing what to do. There's a lot of, paralysis of analysis and confusion and things. And you're in a unique position to understand the changing environment for startups, for entrepreneurs, and for media companies. What are you seeing? What do you think is important? What would you like people to know about where we are right now?
So I would say for a startup company, there's a number of aspects, especially in the direct-to-consumer business, that you have to consider. First of all, is obviously, do you have a good product? I mean, if you don't have a product that's going to solve a consumer's need, address a particular aspect of their life that allows them to do something better, faster, quicker, etc., there's really not a lot of reason to get in the business, because it's a challenging business. And one of the big challenging pieces of it is, do you have good partners? I mean, and in this business, it's so critical. So people who have been there and done this before.
I've been in DR for a long time, and I understand it. I have interviewed 500 crowdfunding success stories.
Okay.
Just crowdfunding.
Yep.
But what I am seeing, it's direct response. That's what it is. It's make a pitch.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Let me get your
crowdfunding in of itself.
It is.
Yeah, sure it is.
So now, it proves something I've said for years. Now, you said you have to have a good product. I take it a step further, and I say, that's true, but you have to have a good pitch for that product.
Yeah, fair point.
And crowdfunding proves that beyond question. The product doesn't even exist. They are pre-selling a good pitch of an idea that doesn't exist to get money, and they're raising $50,000, $500,000, $1 million, and I talk to people every week who are raising that kind of money, and that's the kind of money that just gets them to this platform to launch. I mean, I think this can absolutely revolutionize direct response. It's the same principles, the same vendors, the same outreach, telling a story and asking people to take an action. It's like what PBS has done for decades. Hey, donate something and we'll send you a gift, a product. Well, you're just pre-buying the product. And I mean, there's some incredible stories.
The original direct response has now sort of been digitized in a different way, right? So I agree with you that crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, the Kickstarter concepts, all of that are, in fact, it's a direct response mechanism.
It's very important to think of your crowdfunding campaign in much the same way top professionals look at their direct response campaigns for this reason. Think about this. If you don't have enough profit after you manufacture and deliver the perk reward that you want to offer, if your perk does not have enough profit as you pre-sell it for money, you can actually end up moving backwards financially. Crowdfunding is selling or pre-selling product ideas which will become produced with donations from promised rewards. So it's important to pre-sell on value, not on price. And that's as important as getting the word out and promoting your offer with free publicity to journalists and the top bloggers. Now, stories that are placed in the top blogs, such as Engadget, can bring hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars into campaigns, including the Pebble Watch, which raised nearly $10 million. So next, I want to introduce you to the editor of Engadget, who I ask about free publicity. But before I do, let me share this case study and the key components from this interview, because I want you to hear these things. I've organized this into a crowdfunding vehicle to help you to reach success. Now, candidly, I wish marketing did not cost anybody anything. But as savvy veteran marketers know, it does take money to make money. Not much, but some. And that's true in crowdfunding as well, even for wishful thinkers who I'd like to caution. Number one, if you really are tight-fisted, avoid the super cheap little pop-up companies who are now claiming left and right that they can do successful crowdfunding campaigns for $29 to $99. And then, get this, they then claim if the campaign goes on to success that they were the cause of it, even if the campaign creator went on to success despite their lack of help or effort. So many of these are a complete waste of time and money. So I've kissed a lot of frogs looking for the good companies. So in my research, I've truly only found one of the many that is very affordable and effective. Now, this one is effective for a particular reason. They focus on distributing global press releases to recruit journalists, bloggers, and producers who already have large groups of followers. So if you reach them, of course you're going to be successful. So why focus on global press release distribution? Because as much as 50% of cash flow can come into your campaign from outside of the United States. So imagine the potential power if you were enabled with unlimited global press release distribution, with your ongoing updates too, to both the top and medium distribution network of journalists. Well, that's going to be huge for you. And doing this in unlimited ongoing distribution will also reach the social media distribution networks with the same company, like Facebook, Google+, Twitter, Pinterest, Blogger, FriendFeed, Delicious, Tumblr, StumbleUpon, MySpace, DeviantArt, LiveJournal, Reddit, Webshare, Orkut, LinkedIn, and more. So with that distribution on your now published content, because it'll be published after you distribute it, right? Well, think about what's going to happen next. You're also going to drive, using all those links, your SEO ranking right to the top of Google. So think of that as one-stop shopping for your publicity, social media, and SEO for your crowdfunding campaign all at once. Now, here's my feather in my cap that can help you. Because crowdfundbeat.com selected me as one of the top 100 professionals and thought leaders in crowdfunding, if you decide to team with me on your crowdfunding campaign, you can receive all of this global content distribution on a contingency basis. That means projects that are raising $25,000 or more can be guaranteed to raise $25,000 or more, or pay nothing up front and no risk for this global press release distribution. You just need to contact me for the complete details. So would a $25,000 upfront sale, guaranteed money into your campaign, help you to prime the pump for more growth? Well, if you don't already have a large online following, then you should definitely consider using free publicity to recruit journalists, bloggers, and producers to do the heavy lifting for you with stories about you to their pre-existing audiences. Or if you just don't have two nickels to rub together at the moment and just can't afford any professional help at all, and you don't have the skill set to do your own social media, then consider doing a pre-crowdfunding, kind of a phase one campaign, just to your friends and family. And maybe double the perks to them as early supporters to help you get the seed capital you need to hire the professional help to launch your crowdfunding campaign. Crowdfunding is so flexible. There's a solution for any project and almost anybody. It's important to accept the fact getting the word out about your crowdfunding campaign will cost you or somebody either in time or money or both. That's just a fact of life. If you face your challenges, you cut them in half. If you turn your back on them, they double. So face that fact. You can reach out with press release distribution. And when you do, you may catch the attention of editors like Tim Stevens of Engadget. Because like global press releases, Engadget is also a multilingual and technology blog network with daily coverage of gadgets and consumer electronics. Engadget currently operates a total of 10 blogs, 4 written in English, and 6 international versions written with independent editorial staffs. Here are your case study tips to listen for in this interview with Tim Stevens, the powerful Engadget editor. Number 1, non-traditional networking like crowdfunding means funding that needs non-traditional promotions. 2, you need to find that core group of people to network with who are super interested and super excited about what you are trying to do. 3, find a way to communicate with them directly through targeted advertising, social advertising, or forums, and where people are talking about what you have to offer. 4, get the ear of the people interested in the solution or project you're offering. 5, do what it takes to create the momentum that you need to get your project off the ground. Now listen to Tim Stevens yourself.
Tell me a little bit about your introduction to crowdfunding when you first heard about it or learned about it, and kind of the experience that you personally have had with it or Engadget has, and what your general thoughts on crowdfunding are.
Well, my first introduction to crowdfunding was through the site Kickstarter.com. We started getting tips from the users of cool projects that they were seeing on Kickstarter, things that were interesting to us, of course. Accessories to gadgets, smartphone accessories, lens kits for your iPhone, things like that. And we started to follow this happening very closely just because it was kind of a fascinating thing for us to see that people were able to solve little problems that they had with their devices and do it themselves without having to go through the whole process of getting funding through a major source and going through all of the normal issues that would prevent somebody who's got a great idea from getting that great idea put into production. So at Engadget, we started to follow these things more closely. And eventually we launched a series of articles that we call Insert Coin, which is where we basically look for things on Kickstarter or Indiegogo or any of the other numerous crowdfunding sites out there. Anything that catches our eye, anything that's gadget related and kind of fun and a good idea, we will highlight it and write it up for our readers so they can see some of the cool things that some other people are up to.
Now, exposure on Engadget has resulted in some pretty phenomenal success stories, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're lucky that we get quite a bit of traffic each day, and so when we highlight some of these stories, they go from questionable funding to well and truly very funded very quickly. One of those great success stories was the Ouya gaming console, which launched a few months ago. That's one of the the poster children of Kickstarter at this point, having raised I think about $8 million total. But yeah, that was a very popular story on the site. We wrote quite a bit of coverage because there were a lot of gamers who were very interested in something like a low-cost Android-based gaming console, and that was hugely successful. And I'd like to say that we played at least a small part in making that so.
What about the Pebble Watch?
Yeah, we've been covering the Pebble Watch quite closely. We've been very interested in the growth of wearable computing and things like smartwatches. And the Pebble Watch is definitely one of the more interesting and one of the more fascinating ones that we've seen. And, of course, the fact that it comes through Kickstarter also makes it a fascinating story overall. So, yeah, that's definitely something that we were covering back at the beginning. We've been covering quite a bit since then, and quite a few of our readers, or quite a few of our editors, I should say, have the things.
How much importance would you put on promotion for successful crowdfunding?
Promotion is definitely hugely important. People aren't going to fund your idea unless you've got eyeballs on the page of the site. So if people aren't finding your product, then ultimately you're going to have a hard time. But I think that just like we're looking at a non-traditional means of funding here, you also need to look at non-traditional means of promotion. So buying banner ads and things like that aren't necessarily going to work for you. What you need to do is basically find the ultimate outlet for your product. Find that core group of people who are going to be very excited about whatever it is that you're trying to get produced, and find a way to talk to them directly. So whether it's targeted advertising on Google, social advertising, going into forums where people are talking about whatever it is that you're trying to fix, find a way to get the ear of the people who are most interested in whatever it is that you're producing. And then at that point, hopefully things will kind of steamroll and pick up speed on their own, and you won't need to necessarily rely on a huge marketing campaign to get your product off the ground.
Well, as you can see, the right free publicity from bloggers can bring millions of dollars into your campaign. Number one, traditional means of funding need non-traditional promotions. Two, you need to find a core group of people to network with who are super interested and excited about what you're trying to do. Three, find a way to communicate with them directly through targeted advertising, social advertising, or forums where people are talking about what you have. Four, get the ear of the most interested people about your project and turn them into evangelists. Five, do what it takes to create the momentum you need to get your project off the ground. Now, there are other ways to access media exposure, and as a media mentor, I've learned all of them. But when you're seeking non-traditional means to get funding into your project, you need to look at all avenues. As we demonstrated, crowdfunding is just the newest form of direct response advertising. For decades, I've been going to media trade shows across the country and around the world to network directly with direct response distributors. And as we all know, anybody who's interested in watching the extremely successful ABC TV show Shark Tank, they have 4 judges reviewing entrepreneurial projects. Just 4. Now, imagine a web TV series like our Crowd Success TV, which is distributed not to 4, but to 200 of the world's most financially successful product distributors who need innovative projects just to survive. These folks sell hundreds of millions, even billions of dollars of products every year. In fact, one of the most important insider secrets I've learned through my years of crowdfunding intelligence gathering interviews with the world's top campaigners is that the difference between crowdfunding success and a mega success is distributor networking and distributor funding. Distributors now comb crowdfunding portals looking for the hot new project, not projects that are sitting there collecting dust, the ones that are collecting money. So next I want to let you hear directly from a veteran of the ABC TV show Shark Tank, and his attorney partner who's a keynote speaker at the upcoming KickerCon conference and expo.
Kevin Harrington, of course, is the father of the infomercial. He invented the infomercial as we know it today, and also was one of the original sharks on Shark Tank on television. So Kevin is a celebrity. He also happens to be my partner at FundHub. Pitch Tank is going to be like a Shark Tank environment where people can bring their inventions, their business ideas, anything that they want to pitch to Kevin, and you never know. There could be an investment, there could be a marketing deal, there could be an infomercial that comes out of it. I've seen crazier things happen, so there's no idea what's going to happen. If you have an invention, if you have a product that you want to see go into the mainstream and you can't find the money to do it, if you've got an idea that you want to crowdfund, or if you're just looking for funding in general for your idea, your business, your product, submit it to Pitch Tank. You're going to get some great valuable feedback. Kevin has sold hundreds of millions, billions of dollars of products throughout the world, on television, on the internet. The guy is a magician when it comes to taking products and inventions out to the public, and also taking businesses out to the public. It's not just inventions. You may have a business idea. Anyone who wants to pitch something that they might want to see Kevin Harrington, one of the original sharks on Shark Tank, involved with, this is the time to do it.
Kevin Harrington, you and I have been involved in the DR industry for quite a while. We've seen it change, we've seen it grow and blossom, and now we're seeing it change. So tell me a little bit about what you're seeing in terms of how it's changing.
Well, in the old days, everything was on TV, then TV and checks, then TV drove retail. Now what you're seeing is TV is driving retail as well as major league internet sales. In fact, some of our campaigns are running 40, 50, 60%, even north of 60% internet sales. So the internet is very, very important to pay attention to. And also, sometimes now, in the old days, international came months later, 3, 4, 6, 9 months later. Now you put something up in the U.S., the international market is paying attention to that project right away. I mean, TV is going to drive, obviously, retail. TV is going to drive the internet. TV is going to drive the social media. So, yeah, there are a few people that might be having some success on a pure social media play, but that's risky and lucky if that's the case. Okay, so you have to be able to incorporate TV as the driving force to capitalize on all of these other aftermarket type situations.
Well, hopefully by now you've recognized the enormous potential of crowdfunding and that there's much to be gained. But there's a big difference in the money raised, but a very small difference in the cost of getting the word out. And so you can see the value in doing it right rather than fast. So please register tonight for our free newsletter, The Crowdfunding Minute, at thecrowdfundingminute.com. Simple. Now, you can also find there the top 10 low-cost exposure-getting practices, which I've implemented into my design of the ideal campaign, in which you too can implement into your planning and crowdfunding launch. In fact, if you want to work with me, you can do that a la carte simply. You can purchase any of the a la carte techniques right there for only $97 each, or you can purchase all 10 of them, my recommendation, for a total of just $497 and save about 50%. And get this, you can make low-cost payments if you wish that are based on accomplishments. So if you're skeptical, no worries. Take them one accomplishment at a time. Or if you're experienced veteran business people and wish to hire me as the executive producer of your crowdfunding campaign to teach you and your team or producer about how to do your crowdfunding campaign, because all projects are different, we can discuss that in person. So you can sign up right now to learn how to make money by teaching crowdfunding using my curriculum in your own city, state, or country. Many people are charging $100, $150 an hour to teach crowdfunding. You'll find that there's something for everybody at thecrowdfundingminute.com. So sign up for our free newsletter tonight and stay up to date on crowdfunding as we move forward. So for Crowd Success TV with the crowdfundingminute.com, I'm Mike Hayes. Thanks for joining me. Good night.